Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is part 2 of Do Muslims Want a Caliphate? So I found some results for a survey taken by Gallop in 2006, where they surveyed the Muslims living in Egypt, Morocco, Indonesia and Pakistan, and 2/3 of the respondents said they supported the goal of unifying all Islamic countries into a new caliphate. So, these surveys have been done and they are positively in favor of the reestablishment of the Khilafah. So the Muslims do actually want the reestablishment of the Khilafah. Even if you look, like we mentioned in the previous video, the result of the Arab Spring, where the Muslim Brotherhood came into power as a result of the elections that were done after Hosni Mubarak was removed, shows the sentiment of the people where they are pro-Islamic and they want the Islamic system. Now, the problem that the Muslim Brotherhood had was that they chose the method to re-establish the Khilafah, or the means by which to get to an Islamic government, was to go through the ballot box. So the problem with that, firstly, is that this is against the method of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he went to the people of power and he went to the leaders of tribes, and he was seeking the nusrah through that method. The Ikhwan, they had a different approach. So the first problem that they had was that their method was not by the Sunnah of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And more specifically, they didn't have the backing of the military, the actual power brokers. They didn't have that support. And as a result, because they didn't get that support, a CIA-initiated coup was able to remove the Muslim Brotherhood from power and replace them with yet another agent of the West, i.e. what we see today with Sisi. Now, the conditions of what led to the Arab Spring haven't changed. In fact, they've got worse. So that would indicate that the need and the demand for a change is even greater now than it was at the time of the Arab Spring, when it was close to maybe 10, 12 years ago or something in that region. And you can tell by the response of the Muslim leaders, or the so-called leaders of the Muslim majority countries, when they're having these conferences and they're having these meetings to show that they have some sentiments for what's happening in Palestine. That's nothing more than to keep the public at bay and to protect their own thrones. Now, Sisi is actually known for having speeches behind bulletproof glass. There's a reason for that. You don't have speeches behind bulletproof glass if you're confident of your position. These rulers are actually very, very afraid. Mohammed bin Salman, he will suppress any voice for pro-Palestine protests. If even making dua will get you in prison. You don't do that if you're confident. You only do that if you're actually scared for your throne and you're fearful for losing your power, which seems to be the case. Now, there are some anecdotal experiences of my own when I visited Pakistan just over 10 years ago. I was on the bus and I was traveling from Islamabad to Sialkot. And I managed to sit next to an accountant, and it was the elections at the time, and I just started a conversation and I said, what do you think is the future for Pakistan? And his first response was Khilafat. I didn't know this guy. He was just a common average Joe public guy, and the first thing that came to his mind when I asked him what's the solution, what's the future, he said Khilafat. So the demand for the Khilafah, the reestablishment of the Khilafah, is there. in the Muslim world. But what we have is that these leaders are protecting their thrones, and they're fearful. And it's only a matter of time that, the Muslims will, once again, by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we will re-establish Khilafah once again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.